Hey everyone, Reid Henrichs with Valor. Today we're going to have a discussion on natural rights. Let's go ahead and get started. Folks, the entire premise of Western civilization, of which we are a part of in the United States, as well as Europe is where this movement was birthed, is the concept of natural rights. William Blackstone mentions these extensively in commentaries on the laws of England. Our founding fathers elaborated on this clearly in the Declaration of Independence and also the construction of the Constitution. Natural rights are rights that we are given by our Creator and virtue of our humanity as well. It is the entire premise of our society that we are given rights at birth. And these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We have the right to life. That means the right to produce offspring, the right to raise a family, the right to protect that life. And we also have the right to liberty. That means the right to freedom. And government's job is to protect those freedoms. We also have the right to pursuit of happiness. And of course, that means the right to acquire property and improve that property. That can mean land, that can mean money, that can mean other items that we have. The role of government and the only validity that government has is when they protect those rights, the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And of course, the Declaration of Independence goes on that says that when government becomes destructive to these ends, in other words, when they cease protecting those but become the main violators of those, it is the right and the duty of the people to abolish or alter that government. This is in our foundational charter of governance, the Declaration of Independence. And Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Roger Sherman, they all recognize these rights as becoming as essential to a society. And when we start believing that government is the one that doles out these privileges rather than rights, well, then they don't govern by consent anymore. Consent means that we, the people, that the constituents of that country, give government consent. In other words, we give up a little bit of freedom in order to have governance to secure those rights. But when government becomes destructive, they're no longer legitimate. Well, let's see here, the right to life and the right to protect it. So how many people live in states right now that have gun control laws? In other words, that you can't even have the very firearms that would be required of a militia to protect your own state and country. That would be a violation of the right to life. The right to liberty. How many of you live in states right now that they've passed laws that infringe upon your liberty, right? This is a big problem here. And we also look at the concept of the right to property. Government is supposed to protect property. It's supposed to protect your property. But what happens when government is the main violator, the one that takes that property from you? We are at odds with our foundational charter of governance. And this is fast accelerating towards a tyrannical state. You know, growing up during the Cold War, I learned the evils of communism. And when I would ask my teachers and my parents what the evils of communism are, it was, oh, they have mass surveillance on their citizens. They have secret courts. They track their citizens. They encourage other citizens to tell on one another. And nobody gets to keep any of their money. And all of these things, what I learned about what communism is, heavy-handed government, you know, the disarmament of their citizens. Here we are in 2019. Cold War has been over for 27 years now. And in the West, parts of Europe, and including increasingly so and alarmingly so in the United States, we're becoming the very thing that we were brought up to abhor. So natural rights are crucial. Natural rights are a part of our entire society. And in fact, I would argue that they are the foundation of our entire society. The greatest danger to our natural rights has become government. And what I mean by that is that people have voted in others on the entire premise of violating others' natural rights. This is unsustainable. This is unworkable. This will not happen. It cannot be allowed to happen. Because if we allow this to happen and continue down the path unfettered, we will find ourselves in a very Orwellian state. Our children and grandchildren will find themselves in a society very antithetical to freedom, to happiness, to all of the things promised to us in our foundational charter of government. It's one thing to have a political disagreement. It's another thing to have laws enacted that outright violate the natural rights of others. And I'm not talking civil rights, I'm talking natural rights. Rights that would exist even if society was not in place. Rights that would exist in nature. Rights that would exist if we did not live in an organized modern society. If you found the information in the video helpful, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to learn more about your history and your right to life and the right to defend that, come on out to Valor, we can help you with that. This is Reid Henrichs of Valor reminding you, the lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the ridge.